I'll shake the hand that shook the earth. Come shake the hand.
Good morning, everyone. You're listening to Turtle Island News, live today with Tracey Kennedy. We are being broadcast on turtleislandnews.info, of course, Revolution Radio, Studio 8, and the Awake Radio Group. I have to say good morning to everybody. I'm so glad you're here. We are, of course, all listener supported and always could use your help if you're so inclined. For myself, I would like to say that I have the best listeners ever, and you guys always help me, so I'm incredibly grateful today. I had a plan for you guys, a big plan, ideas, everything worked out of what I was going to do today, and then I had a dream. And these numbers have kept coming up in my head until a scream came out this morning. 2, 3, and 9 specifically. So I started off this morning by looking up. I just typed in 2, 3, and 9 in my search engine. Here's the first thing I came up with. A passage. I'm going to read it to you. Above all, you must understand that in the last days scoffers will come, scoffing, as scoffers would. Okay, it doesn't say that part. And following their own evil desires, they will say, where is this coming that was promised? Ever since our ancestors died, everything goes on as it has since the beginning of creation. But they deliberately forgot that long ago, by God's word, the heavens came into being and the earth was formed out of the water and by water. By these waters also the world of that time was deluged, destroyed. By the same word, the present heavens and earth are reserved for fire, being kept for the day of judgment and destruction of the ungodly. But do not forget this one thing. With the day of the Lord is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years like a day. The Lord is not slow in keeping his promise, as some understand slowness. Instead, he is patient with you, not wanting anyone to perish, but everyone to come to repentance. So first of all, I was talking to the voices in my head, and I'm like, really? Have you not listened to my shows? Do you not hear what I think about the Bible? But apparently, the voices don't give even one flying, you know what, about my little feelings. The next one I came up with was on the east towards the sunrise. The divisions of the camp of Judah are to encamp under their standard, and the leader of the people of Judah is Nahshon. His division are the numbers 74,600. The tribe of Issachar will camp next to them. The leader of the people, his division numbers 54,400. Another tribe will be next. Zebulon. Interesting word. The leader of the people of Zebulon, his divisions, his numbers 57,400. And the men assigned to the camp of Judah, according to their divisions, number 186,400. They will set out first. So obviously not caring about what I think of these passages, things keep coming up, and prophecies to do with United States. Now, I've put up a little video for you on turtleislandnews.info if you have time, because it's almost 3 hours long. But it's about the new Atlantis, the secret mysteries of the American beginnings. Know that United States is meant to represent Atlantis. Its time may be short, but it's meant to represent world history, to show us what has happened before. And this is the greatest whodunit of the last 500 years. The secret mysteries takes the mystery out of American history. Fascinating video, I think, you'll find of the founding of America, exposing the esoteric underbelly of its design. Why, for one, is Washington, D.C. built on the 77th meridian? Are the Revolutionary War cities built in perfect alignment with Stonehenge? Absolutely. And actually, they're a little bit off of Stonehenge, but they're in perfect alignment with the newest Stonehenge that has just been discovered, buried about 2 miles away from the one we knew about. It's older. It's bigger. It's pretty fantastic. That I was going to talk to you about today. But apparently, the voices in my head want me to talk about something else. If America was founded as a Christian nation, why are there so many signs and symbols and buildings and monuments based on something completely else, other? There is no doubt that what we think of as American national heritage was one thing. But just as a coin has two sides, this heritage already has the second side, based squarely on the occult and secret societies and the history of this planet and what happened to us. Now, in the 16th century, Sir Francis Bacon, who we've talked about several times, was at the helm of the secret societies in England, which was at the helm of the secret societies in Europe. When Bacon penned his work, The New Atlantis, he believed that America and Atlantis were one and the same. He outlined his vision for the perfect society. Some suggest the program he set forth is a driving force in what's happening now. A 1910 Newfoundland stamp has his image on it, and it reads, Lord Bacon, the guiding spirit in the colonization scheme. Because of his influence, Bacon is considered to be the true founding father of this new civilization. Sounds weird, right? But these things, these 2, 3, and 9, driving me nuts. Because of some odd passages. And have we just experienced America's last 4th of July? Another passage. The thing that hath been, it is which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. There is no new thing under the sun. To the dismay of many, it's not going to be a rant today about America policy, ignorance, or countless abominations going on worldwide. Rather, I want to show you exactly why the dismantling of the United States was set in motion since its inception in 1776. If you understand what I have been conveying before, this is a final confirmation, the nail in the coffin. And the tentacles of this prophecy, this prophetic beast, is too juicy to just pass over. July 4th, 1776, the 17th of Tammuz. July 4th, 2015, also the 17th Tammuz. The last time July 4th was on the 17th Tammuz, 1996. In other words, this doesn't happen every few years, but rather every 20. The next time July 4th falls on the 17th Tammuz, 2034. Folks, this is not a common occurrence. When you add September 23rd falling on Yom Kippur that same year, this same year, it is even more rare. And as you know, many prophetic indicators are pointing to this date. Again, 9/23, 2015 is the 239th year of Americans' independence. Again, we're seeing 239 or 23rd 9 repeatedly. I'll be bringing this up a lot. This is considered the second most ominous day in Jewish history. It is when the walls of Jerusalem were breached before the destruction of the Second Temple. On the afternoon of the 16th of Tammuz, the Israelites constructed the golden calf. Interesting. On the 17th of Tammuz, Moses smashed the 10 Commandments. It wouldn't be until the Feast of Atonement, which is September 23rd, 2015, that Moses would receive the second set of tablets and atonement for the sin of the golden calf. The Israelites had been delivered out of the hands of the Pharaoh from Egypt. When Moses was on Mount Sinai speaking with God, or the bush, burning, of course, the people became anxious. They constructed an idol. The veil between the spiritual and the physical is coming down, or has come down. What has been will be again. Many may feel the events in mainstream media give us no indication of prophecy, but I beg to friggin' differ right now. Because it's in my face every frickin' day. This year, September 23rd, falls on Tishri 10, or Yom Kippur, the Feast of Atonement. On this day, Moses received those tablets, received atonement for the Israelite sin. Interesting that this same year, we had our number 23 golden CAV calf in the NBA Finals on 6/6/15, or 6/6, 1 plus 5, 666. We had the American Pharaoh win the Triple Crown for the first time since 1978, the very same year Israel and Egypt signed Camp David Accords again. So we had the leaders of Egypt and Israel. And this year, the Pharaoh happens to hail from America. The parallels here are unmistakable. What is coming this September is anyone's recap. But it certainly appears to be the reverse exodus. The fleeing, the, migration. And while the Israelites committed adultery, again, on the heels of fleeing the bondage of the Pharaoh, we are embracing this idolatry, entering into our own slavery. If God is merciful, as I am told, but the outright rejection of the rightful place he deserves eventually results in some sort of judgment, would it not? Now, let's do a list. 38 converging events. Just because I want to keep with these numbers that are really, really, really bugging me. And there is an unprecedented convergence of events going on right now, all up in my face, in our faces, falling on this September. The only prediction I can make with certainty is that by the start of October, life, as we know it, will have changed forever. Whether you are a prophecy buff, a skeptic, or a bit of both, it's my belief that overwhelming events of significance pointing to this month that we are just barely in should cause us at least to pause. And pause is important because every esoteric, spiritual foundation tells us it's not thought that gives us freedom. It is pause, it is stillness, it is silence. This is why I think we need to pause once again. And the underlying premise for anyone to accept the magnitude of what follows is simply this. The nature of many a man is evil. And there are forces at work who seek power and self-interest above all else. Not all men, but many. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principles, against powers, against the numbers and the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Shemitah 9:13, or the 29th of Elul, interesting, of the Hebrew calendar. The 29th Elul, 9/17 of 2001 saw the market crash. 684 points, which was a record at that time. The following Shemitah cycle, 29th Elul, so 9/29, 2008, surpassed this record with a drop of 777 points. Rosh Hashanah, Jewish year. Tishra 1, the Feast of Trumpets, September 13th to the 15th. The Year of Light begins 9/14. The International Year of Light, Light-Based Technologies 2015, is a United Nations observance that aims to raise awareness of the achievements of light science and its application and its importance to mankind. Lucifer and Lucy, that's why they use that name, in Latin means the light bringer. Jade Helm 15 ends 9/15. There have been many websites, many videos, many talkings available to dive deeper to the significance behind this drill, this AI. The name and the emblem alone should be concerning. The newest image of the perfectly placed, young, dead body of a child after a wreckage of a boat, but the placement of this cannot be forgotten. The beach is beautiful and clean. All they needed was a little kitten, and it would have been Wag the dog. And in Disney fashion, what do we see? A dead mother, an aunt who didn't file the papers. I have something, a little piece up for you I put up a couple days ago. If you want to read all the inconsistency of that, but no until the 15th. Everything is jade. Facebook is a social experiment. They've been caught at this. They are using our minds and our emotions for certain outcomes. This outcome is working. Do not fall prey to this, brothers and sisters. I am not being cold here. I realize the biggest mass migration of this planet is on now. We knew this was coming. Don't harden your hearts. But don't open your head so much that your brains fall out either. Next on my list. This is number 5. The International Day of Peace, 9/21. For they shall say, peace and safety. Then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child. They shall not escape. 6. The Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, 9/23. Holiest day of the year for Jews, observed by fasting and repentance. This is the day Moses, of course, went to God seeking atonement for the sin of the golden calf. And again, Cleveland CAVs wearing the golden uniforms played in the NBA Finals. Which, of course, I must say again, you can't make this shit up. And believe it or not, the city of Cleveland was founded by General Moses Cleveland. She says to herself. Number 7 on my list, Year of Jubilee, 9/23. Each cycle of 7 years of 7 is followed by a Sabbath year of rest, where debts are forgiven. Then we have the Islamic Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca, September 22nd, 23rd. Circling around the cube, the black cube with the black stone of the mother inside trapped. All wearing white, all naked under that. Because they can't do the old pagan ritual where they would just be naked and going around that 7 times. Nine, the Feast of Sacrifice, or the Eid al-Adha, a major Muslim holiday celebrated this year, September 23rd, 24th. This is the festival where Islam celebrates Abraham's willingness to sacrifice his son, Ishmael. Islam believes Ishmael, not Isaac, was the promised son. Here is what Genesis says about Ishmael. This son of yours, will be a wild man, as untamed as a wild donkey. He will raise his fist against everyone, and everyone will be against him. Yes, he will live in the open hostility against all his relatives. And by the way, whichever one of these brother religions you believe in, Abraham's son never spoke to him again. Who would? Then, June 7th, 1967 to September 23rd, 2015. 2520 weeks. The duration of the 70th week of Daniel in days. interestingly matches up precisely. This is the method of understanding prophecy by applying days to weeks, weeks to years, God's pattern in perfection. Mean, tekel, upherzen. Daniel 5 has a numeric value of 2520. 2520.net has more information on this specific topic, and I encourage you to check this out. And high five to them. And it's the word 20, the number 5, 20.net. That was awesome. Awesome work, guys. Then we have 23, 9/23, 266th day of the year. The earliest a woman's pregnancy is full term. It's also the day the 266th Pope arrives in the United States. A woman, when she is in travail, hath sorrow, because her hour has come. Travail, work. As soon as she is delivered of child, she remembereth no more the anguish. Which is weird, because you do forget, because people have a second child, sometimes more than that, so you must forget this pain. Now for joy that a man is born into the world. This is from John. CERN 9/23, 9/24. In Face Like the Sun YouTube channel by Gomez Shamira points out that prior to CERN taking down the information that they had displayed on their website, a specific schedule indicating they would be breaking through into a different dimension. Yes, it's a thing. They said it. A top official for CERN, when asked a few months ago when she anticipated being able to discover the dark matter, replied mid-September. Remember, CERN has Shiva, Hindu god of destruction, in front of their facility, and a very clear 666 on their emblem. Furthermore, should be noted, Cernunnos is the name given to the horn god in Celtic mythology. Horn god is always Cain. It is usually synonymous with Moses. I have pictures up on the site. Just go to the left side of my site, Turland News Site Info. In the little search thing, type in Moses or horns. You're going to see this. Now, Cernunnos appears on the pillar of the boatman, a Galileo-Roman monument dating to early 1st century. To label a god depicted with stag's antlers in the early stage of the annual growth. Both antlers have torques hanging from them. The name has been compared to the divine epitaph Cernunnos in Celtic inscription written in Greek characters at Montauk? Know what that is? Anyway, Galileo Latin adjective Cenotes just means horned. If we go to Proto-Celtic form, it's also reconstructed as either Cern on Os or Cerno Carno, maybe, because it's C-A-R-N-O, on nos. Anyway, on is characteristic of both. This can be found all over. Cern with an E. Unus is really unknown, but the Celtic word for horn is carnos or canonis. And you can see the ancient Celt, close to Roman. Now, carnon, horn, is just another conjunction, Latin, corno, Gaelic, ornos, English, horn, ultimately in Proto-Indo-European. Still, carn, horn appears in Gaulish and Galician branches of all of the colonial Celtic. We go to Alexandria, glosses this Gaelic or Galilean term, cornon. It also means trumpet or Gaelic trumpet because they used horns. Celtic military listed the cornux. It is an instrument, an animal-shaped bell. The root also appears as names of Celtic policies, most prominently amongst them carnutes, meaning like the horn ones, in several personal names found in ancient inscriptions all over there. So you can try to cancel the meaning if you like, but I believe Cern, particularly with its little Shiva statue and its 666 emblem, once again hiding the truth in plain sight. The horned god, the goat god, Shiva, 666, Zeus, Apollyon, abandoned, the destroyer, the serpent, Lucy, Lucifer, Satan, devil, Poseidon, Dionysus. You may call any number of gods, Pan, yes, whatever you'd like. But they always bow to the same leader and always display their alliances in plain sight. This is clearly the case here. 13. I throw up the Madonna concert in D.C., the opening theme, desecration of a bride and the arrival of fallen angels, mid-September, just prior to the Pope's arrival. One of her recent concerts, her, tied to a cross, which she loves, but I'm sure there's no agenda to that one. Number 14 in my list, September 24th, Pope Francis addresses the U.S. Congress, first time in history. 15. The Pope will address the UN and issue something he's calling an encyclical on the 25th. September 25th, conducting Mass, 6 p.m., Madison Square Gardens, just days after Madonna plays at the MSG. Then, number 17, the Pope goes to Philadelphia. 9:26, Revelation 3:10-11, to the Church of Philadelphia. Because you have kept my command to endure, I will also keep you from the hour of testing that is to come over the whole world to test those who live on earth. I am coming quickly. Hold on to what you have so that no one takes your crown. Probably nothing. Next, 18. May 13th, 2014, 500-day limit of climate chaos, September 25th. The bizarre press conference with John Kerry and French Foreign Minister, where they repeatedly state, sorry, I need a drink of coffee. It is so humid here, guys. It's kicking my entire butt. So you know. Okay, I'm drinking. This is where they say we have 500 days before global climate chaos. There's a video up on the page, not today, but somewhere on our site, that should have had everyone scratching their head saying, what the heck is he talking about? What do they know that we don't know? And there's an awesome image with Carrie, and this guy's putting up his hand. Stop. 19. Tomorrowland Festival, September 25th to 27th. Celebrated at 33rd degree parallel north, 33 degree, again, highest level, allegedly, Freemasonry. An important number in occult rituals. Since it holds our spinal cord, it is an important number for us. Tomorrowland Festival is the largest electronic musical festival in the world. You can look up more if you're interested, but for the sake of this list, understand it is basically an Illuminati worship service, priding the human condition, all pointing to a one-world, transhumanist utopia. A la bacon. 20. The Feast of Tabernacles, the Sept, or the Feast of the Booths, September 27th to October 5th. Number 21. The fourth blood moon, 9/28. This is a supermoon. This is a bullseye over Jerusalem. The bullseye. We've been talking about the bull a lot. The last two lunar tetrads were 19 years apart, 1948 and 1967. That's 19. Okay, 19 years apart. The current tetrad, 48 years from 1967. The 1948 to 2015 is 67 years. So we have 1948, 1967, 48, 2015, and 1948, 67, 2015. Seeing this symmetry here. 1948, Israel returned to the promised land. Although those people have no Semite blood. But I will stop fighting this since all of my references keep being thrown up into my face from the Bible. Bull. Horn God. 1967. Israel reclaimed Jerusalem. The next fulfillment of the Bible prophecy is for Israel to rebuild the temple. 22. Chinese president will visit the U.S. in September. This will be the first time he visits the U.S. since taking over 2012. That is, of course, if United States stops lobbing rods of God at them, because it's been confirmed now, what I told you last week, the fourth weird explosion just went off in China. That's on the page. And another one in Thailand. And it looks like one in Singapore. Singapore not confirmed, but there's a little flashy, bangy light Joe thing. Number 23. The parable of the fig tree. Average length of a generation is 67. 67 plus 148. Again, 2015. That's why I'm saying 67 is a big deal. 24. The Muslim prophecy of the Mahdi, or Muad'Dib. That's where that word comes from. Now, the Mahdi. Many devout Muslims believe that their Mahdi will return this year. The Mahdi will be the 12th Imam, and they view him as a Messiah, somewhat. The messenger. The Quran's description of him directly parallels with the biblical Antichrist. Because, brothers fight the worst of all, Cain and Abel. This is the way of brothers. 25. 9:15. The 70th session of the UN General Assembly begins, and it is believed France will issue a resolution to give the Security Council recognition of the Palestinian state. I doubt it. Now, number 26. 9:25 to 9:27. The UN will launch a new branch called Sustainable Development. The new plan for the entire planet, which will do with economics, ecology, politics, culture, circles of sustainability, with their little flat earth symbol sitting there in between the R's. Number 27. An increasing number of references to September, specifically 9/23, in film. Now if you go to YouTube, Renee M's channel, and I'll make sure you get all these links later, because I'm standing on the backs of giants and feel I need to shout out to them. It covers them exhaustively. I believe her conclusions regarding the rape torture event are incorrect, but she has done a phenomenal job compiling information. Some examples: Tomorrowland, Fantastic Four, Heroes, Castaway, Evan Almighty, Red Dawn, Iron Man, Simpsons, Lego, Dimensions, I, Frankenstein, Little Shop of Horrors, numerous others. Really cool. Many, many, many that show 9/23. Number 28, Malaysian flight that disappeared, 239. So again, 9/23 again, just playing with the numbers. Passengers from 2015, different countries. Number 30, South Carolina shooting that again points to 9/23 as well. Took place 9 p.m. Number of victims, 9. Victims age range, 26 to 87. 2 plus 6 plus 8 plus 7, 23. Again, we see 9/23 appearing randomly. However, I don't believe in random, because there is nothing random about the stuff going on right now. Then we have 2015, America's 239th, 9/23, Independence Day. 32. The Amtrak train crashed in Philadelphia at 9:23 p.m. The Pope will address the Church of Philadelphia on 9/26, but arrives in the States 9/23. Number 33. Efren Rodriguez, years ago, predicted a comet striking off the coast of Puerto Rico, September 2015. Efren Rodriguez. The only reason I've included this is due to the amount of attention it's been receiving on alternative media of late. And because I mentioned it before, and I can say, if you'd listen to my shows, you would know this shit. Go ahead, smack me. I'm annoying. Number 34. Sir Isaac Newton's prophecy, Daniel 9:25. Know therefore and understand that from going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks, and 62 weeks. And the street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublesome times. That's from wherewillyoube.org. Isaac Newton understood that this time period of 7 sevens, or 70 sevens, reference to the Shemitah and the Jubilee cycles of the Hebrew calendar. A Shemitah cycle, 7 years in length. 7 Shemitahs equal to 49 years. The following year, the 50th, marks the beginning of the Jubilee. According to Newton's prediction, the Great Tribulation, so the apocalypse, we're talking about the apocalypse again, will begin exactly 7 sevens after the Jews' final return to Jerusalem. It was June 7th, 1967, that the Jewish people recaptured the city of Jerusalem at the end of the 6th-day war, because they had to come in on the 7th day. Yeah? This event started the ticking of the prophetic clock. Clock also means horns, by the way. Anyway, if we add 49 prophetic biblical years are 360 days each, to the date of June 7th, 1967, or the exact total of 17,640 days, we arrive at the date September 23rd, 2015, which is the Day of Atonement, one of God's 7 appointed times, because it's a big deal. This day marks the beginning of the year of Jubilee, which will end up being either a blessing for those who are living righteously, which is weird of me reading this date and seeing prophecies about this, or a form of judgment for those who are not living righteously by their God. 35. December 2014. Congress passed a $1.1 trillion bill to essentially keep the United States solvent, floating then. This expires September 30th this year. That's from democracy.info. Number 36. International Monetary Fund and China. It was stated in July that September 15th would be a deadline to determine if the United States would grant China more power in the IMF. Now, according to Reuters, the IMFC, which is the key governing institution in the IMF, has decided that if by the 15th of September this matter is not resolved satisfactorily, then we have to select an interim step that we will take to make sure there is an element of down payment on the quota. You may recall the unsettling video where Lagarde eerily displays her obsession with numerology. This should give any thinking person the chills, or at least make you say, what are they thinking of? Now, this list is by no means exhausted. I've left some things out as they require venturing too far down certain rabbit holes. I'll probably add, as we get closer, an additional information surfaces. Even if you are one who doesn't believe in the Bible, it's worth taking the time to evaluate your place in this world, because somebody believed in this stuff. The individuals that seek to control the lives of others are pushing and making their final push those who hold to a biblical worldview are being marginalized. Science is no longer the new God here. So, 239 days in America equals the 239 years of America. I've been having some wild dreams. So I had to pull this show over today because I believe there's a specific passage, a directive, that differs greatly from most of the dreams that I have been sent lately. I had my plans for what I wanted to work on today, but it appears there's more significance to this number 239 that needs to be said. I'm not sure that I've ever had prophetic dreams. I've certainly had some stuff happen to me. But what I got, what I really was shown was look up 239 because there's more. So when I got up today, I immediately found what I needed to tell you. The fact that I've missed most of this 239 stuff is pretty friggin' baffling to me. Although I've seen the numbers but not put those three numbers together. Now I know that our regular listeners know most of this stuff, so I don't need to include it, but for the sake of those who are new to this prophetic smorgasbord, I feel I should dive in and repeat some things that I may have just said, because it deals with United States, which is the new Atlantis, which is the timeline for the planet. What happens there has happened everywhere. And again, as I've talked about before, United States is in its 239th and looking like final year. So hang on to your butts. We'll be right back. Love you guys. Don't worry, it's gonna be fine. The rain doesn't care if it drops on it.
Let's shake the earth. Come shake the hand. Come shake the hand. Come shake the hand. Shake the earth. Tobacco roads, fruit on the vine, love running free all the time. All the time. Oh, Lord. Yeah. Let me shake the hand. Let me shake the hand. Oh, come shake the hand. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. All around the world. Yeah. Brothers and sisters.
Welcome back, everyone. How you doing today? Thanks for hanging in there. I hope it hasn't been nose-bleeding freaking boring. Of course, you're listening on TurtleIslandNews.info. Awake Radio Group. Thank you very much. And we want to send our love to Alan. He's been feeling poorly. He usually does a show right after me on Awake Radio Group, so he won't be here today for listeners who usually hang out. So, all my love. We just love him. What a voice, too. Beautiful voice. And, of course, Good afternoon. Thanks for hanging in there. Revolution Radio, Studio A. So, all of these things may be coincidence. Like the four stone horsemen that have just emerged from London's River Thames. That's probably just art, right? Just art. Pictures of that. Apparently, it's not odd to see strange objects just appear out of London's River Thames, like a floating house or an enormous wooden hippo or World War I warship. This month, it's clad with a group of suit-clad men on horses, outfitted with an oil extraction pump heads. Probably nothing. Yeah, I could absolutely be trying to make connections that don't exist. Or not. If they would stop throwing the esoteric stuff at my face, I would stop believing it. And of course they're looking towards the other islands, like this one. Something completely has nothing to do with this, but, the stupidity of Sarah Palin has just gone to a whole nother level. Has nothing to do with any of this news, but she is saying that Native Americans should go back to Nativa. Seriously. I don't know if that's supposed to be Narnia. Oh my God, she's dumber than a bag of hammers. Hey? Bag of hammers may be a little smarter than this lady. I know. Olympically stupid. She is the captain of the stupid team. So, if United States ever wants to have a stupid team, there's your girl. We need to go back to Nativia, guys. Do you believe it? Do you believe it? You gotta laugh, right? You gotta laugh. Why do they let her keep talking? Stop talking. Stop talking. Please stop talking. I am not one who prescribes violence. But what we got to do to shut this bitch up? We love our brothers and sisters from United States. We love our brothers and sisters from all over the world. We know that when I talk about certain things that happen in certain places, I'm not talking about you. They don't love you. I don't know why they let her out of the house, too, dog. She is proof of the moronic field that I've been talking to you guys about. Proof. We have the final proof. Oh, God. I know. So, one more thing that I did kind of just skim over, but I got to tell you about. Because the fourth plant, and there will be 5. Why? Because of phi. There has to be 5. Trust me on this. I may be wrong. Let's just sit back in our chairs and relax. Now, mysteriously this Chinese plant explodes as China dumps a record $94 billion in U.S. treasuries in 1 month. Fourth strike confirmed. And if this could be a coincidence theory, well, I think we should put that to rest now. All those mysterious explosions must be related. Now, if you're planning a trip to China, 2 pieces of advice. Don't go near any chemical factory. As a matter of fact, please don't go. And certainly do not look like a short seller. Failing to heed any of these tips might get you thrown in jail. or sent on a short vacation. Now, the consequences of failing to follow any of this advice could be, how should we put it, explosive. Now, with Beijing still scrambling to contain the fallout, both figuratively and literally, from the last devastating blast, which killed at least 160 people, injured 700 last month, the country is on edge. 2 additional blasts confirmed, both in Shandong, did nothing to calm China's frayed nerves. And now, 100% confirmed 4th blast. An explosion that shook a chemical plant in China, state media said on Monday. There have been no immediate reports of casualties. The blast caused a thick fire and smoke. Here's what we don't get. What we don't hear is if this happened the same as the other 3, that people there felt an earthquake, which again go back to our rods of God weapons, which Lowe's put on YouTube for me because she rocks that hard, like the Flintstones. War of the Worlds, World War III, not coming, already here. Okay, so moving on to the esoterica, and we've got the abyss, and we've got revelations, and we've got 239 days. Because it's weird, right? It's weird. I know I've just said this, but I'm going to say it again. So, bear with me. 17th of Tammuz fell July 4th, once every 19 years. 1776, 2015. The reason this is significant is because this is the day in Jewish history when Moses broke the stone tablets in response to people's worship of the golden calf. Holiest day of the year, Moses goes back to Mount Sinai and says, I broke your stuff. God. Give me another set. So he comes down with another set of God's stones and announces forgiveness for sin. 2015, 239 years from the beginning of America, falls at 9/23, a date the majority of the world would write as 23.9, or the 23rd day of the 9th month. Most of you are aware that not only is September 23rd, this festival of atonement, also the 266th day of the year when the 266th Pope, or cross-dressing pedophile, arrives in the United States. 266 days is the day a woman is considered full term. We approach Labor Day. Well, we just passed Labor Day. Labor Day. We have labor pains now. So, you see how 239 is 9/23. Both point to the exact same day and the climax of an event, a holiest day in the Hebrew calendar, with His Holiness. 266 arriving on the 266th day of the year, 9/24, 9/24 days from arriving at his post as the Vicar of Christ. 239 days in America. So there just so happens to be a documentary entitled 239 Days in America. Naturally, it wouldn't be 240 days or 238 days. This documentary covers events that took place in 1912, and the film was released in 2012, and it covers the journey to America by the founder of the Baha'i faith, Abdul Baha'i. Why did the Baha'i matter? Well, I'm feeling a little bit disclosey right now. I know you guys some of you people have been following Cash, right? Who has made a lot of references to certain dates this year. Who has made references to the Baha'i faith many times. Many of his releases are cloaked. But I am a listener. I think it matters. Especially because of what happens on the 21st this year that he's going to do. I'm not saying he's Baha'i. Maybe that doesn't matter. But there's certain things going on this year that I'm concerned about. So, 1912, Abdul Baha arrived in the United States on April 11th, 3 days before the sinking of the Titanic. The ship he was offered to travel on, but declined. Now, from Wikipedia, during his talks, he proclaimed the Baha'i principles, such as the unity of God, the unity of religions, oneness of humanity, equality of men and women, world peace, economic justice. All of these things sound fantastic. He also insisted all of his meetings were open to all races. He traveled to New York, Washington, D.C., and Philadelphia, surprisingly enough, all of which are on Pope Francis' travel plans. In Chicago, one newspaper headline included, "His Holiness visits us." Not Pius X, but Abdul Baha. Abdul Baha was born in Tehran, Iran, known as Persia, like someone else we know. Parallels? Well, Abdul Baha visited America. Well, he visited for 239 days. Another religious leader visiting America, 239 on the 9/23, years after its inception. Both leaders exposed oneness, unity, world religions, world peace, economic justice, and the Pope is very sorry for what all of his little cross-dressing, black-robed morons did. He's not giving any shit back, but he's very sorry it happened to you people. All of these things sound magnificent, virtuous, noble on their face. But the ultimate objective is far from it, and they all stem from, yes, the exact same spirit. Prophetically, the visit by Abdul Baha, foreshadowing of what is to come in a few weeks, types and shadows, days and years, parallels are a window into the future. Let's look at unity amongst the world religions, which of course I already think there is only one God, if you believe in that sort of thing, that all religions are from Abraham, formerly known as Brahma. But let's go to what we're told now. The one true God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob said himself that he did not come to bring peace, but to bring the sword. This is because in truth you cannot embrace lies and still call it truth. The sword of truth divides the spirit. Love is that no man should perish, but come to a knowledge of the truth. Part of the great deception will be leading people to believe that being reconciled to that God is not an act of an individual, not an act of an individual contribution, but rather a corporate tolerance for depravity. Yeah, I'm going there. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. Matthew 10:34, which is actually taken from Ezekiel, but I'll do that another time. Love is not tolerance, as our media likes to make you believe it is. If a husband told his wife, "Baby, I tolerate you," I'd slap his entire face. But wrestle with him. Actually, someone with me might have to say that, but we're going to leave that alone. But I hardly believe this would be received well, in general. True love circumvents the petty word games of tolerance, does it not? In love, I'm not offended by another person's religious beliefs. I recognize that prior to being overwhelmed by knowledge, that I too have been lost. I was never called to tolerate, though. And I never did much of that. I still don't. Now I seek love, regardless of their form. But depravity manifesting should not be tolerated. We're going to have a little heart symbol, and we're going to give this out now on February 14th. If you do that sort of thing, saying "I tolerate you" in the middle. Would you like a little candy with that on it? I'd like an "I love you, baby," or an "I love you, mommy," or I love you, Tracey," or "I love you, whatever. I get one thing saying "I tolerate you," it's going to be on. Teacher, which is the most important commandment in the law of Moses? Jesus replied, "You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind." The first, possibly greatest commandment. Second, equally important, love thy neighbor as yourself. The entire law and all the demands of the prophets are based on these things. Once again from Matthew, stolen from Isaiah. The world is moving fast to this one creepy friggin' one world religion, this one world political system. I would say we're here under different terms. I would say these books are written to do this very thing. But it will be done under the guise of peace and unity. As I said, International Day of Peace, 9/21. When Kesh takes some people off world. But we mustn't confuse unity with love. If there is true love, there must be truth. So let's jump to Jano for a minute. 2:39. Since this keeps being thrown in my friggin' face, I was going to hit publish because I received an email from a subscriber. And you now can subscribe, although I don't do anything like really cool. It just tells you when I have new stuff up. Every day I have new stuff up on the page. But anyway, a brother from New Zealand. This passage from Daniel covers the scope of human history since the time of ancient Babylon. I cannot ignore that. And it translates directly to the transition between kingdoms. The Pope's visit is all about the transition to the kingdom of iron mixed with clay. Verse 39, or 2:39, is the last mention of the current kingdom in which we now reside. Not just on Turtle Island, but if we follow the stories of the turtle, which goes all over the world, whether we go to one island or to the many islands who have the same story, we ride on the back of the turtle. That is the one island, or it is the planet. We ride on the back of the turtle, and we ride on a chariot led by 2 griffins or 2 islands or 2 dog, not Chief Charles 2 dog, although it might. The most important thing, if 2 beasts are pulling your chariot, is to maintain your steadiness. This is the chariot card, too. You must rein in both equally. You let one dog, one beast, rule you completely, you turn in circles. Turtle sits there going, what the heck? So hold your horses. So we are here before the final kingdom. This 4th kingdom, told in every story we've ever heard, will be the global government. So many are eager to embrace right now. This was the dream. And now we will interpret it to the king. Your Majesty, you are the King of Kings. The God of heaven has given you dominion and power and might and glory in your hands. He has placed all mankind and the beasts of the field and the birds in the sky, wherever they live. He has made you ruler over them. You are that head of gold. After you, another kingdom will arise, inferior to yours. Next, a 3rd kingdom, one of bronze, will rule over the whole earth. Finally, a 4th kingdom, strong as iron, for iron breaks and smashes everything as iron breaks things into pieces. It will crush and break all the others. Just as you saw that the feet and the toes were partly baked of clay and partly of iron, you will be the divided kingdom, yet it will have some strength of iron in it, even as you saw iron mixed with clay. As the toes were partly iron, partly clay, so this kingdom will be partly strong and partly brittle, and probably that black goo that keeps showing up in every friggin' thing I look at. The Bible doesn't talk about the black goo, but it implies the black goo. This programmable metal, this new thing, which is very much sentient, very much alive. And they've already made it. But going back to the Bible, just as you saw the iron mixed with baked clay, so the people will be a mixture and will not remain united any more than iron mixes with clay. This is Daniel, and this does not mean how we love each other and have a tendency to, put on the Barry White music and get it on. This is about the coming transhumanism, which is here right now. This is about the black programmable metal, which is here now. And we live in the days of Noah. There are so many parallels to the days of Moses too. Our world worships at the altar of the golden calf. The golden calf is money. Rather than one large central object, there are now billions of them, carried by everyone. We can worship the golden calf of our choice, cater to our specific desires, our daemons, our jinn. The deception is to lead one to believe they worship a god. Well, they are committing their own personal brand of idol worship. The Israelites did what? They got tired of waiting. They panicked. Well, building a golden calf seems ludicrous to most of us. We must look at it by what it symbolizes. How many are getting tired of waiting for the world to change? Rather than waiting patiently, we assume we must grab our next idol. If he acts right, looks great, some think, at least I have a new idol. Some say, God, I need you. But since I don't want to seek you above or out, or, heaven forbid we looked inside, we accept assistance, but we are rather busy in the meantime and would like to suck our thumbs, rock back and forth. You must love the Lord, your God, with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment, and this is within you. Now, Abdul Baha of the Baha'i, unknowingly foreshadowing the 239th anniversary and the demise of America in the guise of globalism in his 239th day journey. Both Abdul Baha and Pope Francis come of the same spirit, the deception of leading people to believe in a collective salvation, replacing the truth that was taught over and over and over again, and regardless of its appearance on the outside. No amount of human virtue can save you. If you have to think something, or think you can do something, hell is probably full of virtuous people. Heaven is probably full of sinners, if these are places. In heaven, many will be used, I think, surprised. But those who are there and those who are not, if there is a place, because the grave errors of human pride is what we think it's about. In the abyss and Revelations again. I cannot talk about the 239 without going into Revelation 239. And a tiny little package badly translated. But for those who see through the glass darkly, but then face to face, now I know in part. But then shall I know even as I am also known. That's from Corinthians, but it leads up. Because we need to lay the groundwork here. About something interesting. And I'm not going to go into dogmatic predictions, correlations perhaps, as you will see are more and nothing short of extraordinary. I wasn't sure I should go into it, but I have a friend and I invite you all, be my friend, join my army. Tell me your dreams, because I've asked that before and it's important to me. I am following our dreams. And no, I don't care if they're religiously motivated. I want to know what you're thinking. But with all that being said, you should listen or not. September 23rd, 2015. This is a time period to bring about the ashes from which the phoenix will arise. It's a month in which life will change. I have held this about September 2015 for over a year now. And the 23rd seems to be of significance. And remember, United States just celebrated its 239th, so 9/23, because you can play with numbers, Independence Day. And it falls on the holiest day of the Hebrew calendar, the Yom Kippur, the Feast of Atonement, and the 29th, 266th day of the year with the 266th Pope. And gestation, and when women are considered full term. This is also 924 days, 924, from when the Pope became the Pope, who has already predicted that he doesn't have long to live. In prophecy, there is an appointed time of sorrows, known as labor pains. Yes? Many believe that this is tribulation, or the time of Jacob's trouble. But it is, in part, a time of ramp up. Labor pains thrust the world into a position where we embrace the global solution, and ultimately the man of lawlessness. Yep, going there. Going right there. The Bible leaves clues behind and beyond the first layer of interpretation here. Prophetic, scriptured, is layered. Not all BS. Not all number 33. When it links up to every prophecy we've ever heard, all the allegorical phrases used over various books point to a larger story. One such purposeful, yeah, that's word, right? Purposeful phrase was used concerning the last days. And it specifically talked about a woman in labor. And for this reason, we must understand that the 266th Pope showing up in the States on the 266th day of the year, and the 266 days being exactly when pregnancy is considered full term is not a coincidence. And don't forget, we have these traces of 923 everywhere in movies and world events. These are well documented. Now, with permission, I'm going to read this letter that was sent to me by a brother in New Zealand, and if you would like me to say your name, I would, but I will respect you and not read it. But it struck me so hard after I had already looked into this date and then got this letter. I'm reading it. Here's what he says. For what I am certain is that at least one asteroid is headed to Earth, and it will land in the Atlantic Ocean. Now, Atlantic is Atlanta, is Atlantis. This is important here. I have had it confirmed spiritually many times. I would have to be either very dull or very disobedient not to accept what has been revealed to me. The icing on the cake was that the other day I had a meeting with a banker here, with a friend here from Atlanta. This friend and I had lunch with knows a lot of people in that city and is a strong brother in Christ. See, I talk to Christians. Don't think I don't. Anyway, I explained to him what the Lord revealed to me, and that an asteroid is headed our way. Like most, he was somewhat alarmed by what I said. Anyway, after we met, he had a meeting with another client. The client he met with has a fairly influential position with a certain organization in the federal government. Apparently, within 5 minutes of the meeting, this client told his banker friend that the federal government is in preparation for something celestial headed this way. And it's big. So the first thing I did the next morning is get a phone call from this banker, and he starts off, "You're not going to believe what just happened to me." And he went on into explaining what I just described to you. I am for certain that at least one large asteroid is headed this way. I am mostly certain that it is scheduled to collide into Earth this September. Do you remember that little clip I played you from Third Rock of the Sun, who said at 9:23 that the Earth gets devastated by a meteor? He said he thinks it will devastate the East Coast, leave the West Coast with dissidents, which leads us back to Jade Helm. Speaking with this individual, I looked up words that have a numerical value of 923. There's a total of 19 words with this value. To my astonishment, abscessus, translated into abyss or bottomless pit, is one of them. This is not a common word in Scripture, and most who study understand its magnitude. In researching CERN again, myself and others have long felt that it is a portal entry point for said abscessus. The portal has been opened, or is about to open. That's what CERN said before they got rid of that post. And after I completed several posts on that, I learned again that just days prior, scientists created the first ever wormhole, which is a portal to another dimension. This prophetic message is pretty precise. It was, of course, past tense, which indeed means it's already been done, what they said. That the portal has been opened, but the abyss is still to come. We are being flooded with red sprites. Red sprites raise the frequency of the earth. We know this. But let's look at a few mentions of the abyss, or the bottomless pit, in scriptures, since most are familiar with this. And again, the fifth angel sounded his trumpet, and I saw a star that had fallen from the sky to the earth. And that star was given the key to the shaft of the abyss. When he opened the abyss, smoke rose from it, like the smoke from a gigantic furnace. And if you look at that blast that just happened in Taiwan, it's on my page again, close to the top. Tell me what that looks like. That the sun and the sky were darkened by smoke from the abyss. And out of the smoke, locusts came down on earth and were given power like that of scorpions on earth. Locusts, they have a sound, right? They have a frequency. We are being barraged with frequencies so much that the World Health Organization now says, or is admitting, that electromagnetic, what they call it, it's on page 2, sensitivity is a problem. And I'll post a picture later today that was taken in Mexico a couple days ago, showing it looks like billions of meteors, not hundreds, not a couple billions, but they're not meteors. They are our skies are so energetic, you can see it now. That's why the pink sunsets everywhere. Looks like fingers, looks like a pulse. This is real. You're not imagining it. If you're dreaming it, if you're waking up in the middle of the night with nosebleeds, you're feeling it. It's happening quick. We are opened. We are having an electromagnetic storm from nothing right now. We didn't get a CME. That's a lie. There was no CME. This is something else. Now, interesting, I guess. Precursor to the event. Just one verse prior to references. Always talk about a star falling from earth. A star. Could be lots of things. Could be a pulse. Many people are believing in a catastrophe. Feeling it. I'm not just saying believing in it like it's they read something and they turned into idiots and their brains fell out of their head. I mean feeling it. Although many of us think the first event will be West Coast. But we did have those 5 portals open up at the Atlantic Ocean last year. Again, we may be going through this astronomical cataclysm now. Right, like now. So if you hold on to belief that everything here is guided, and that there is some hand over this, things are not a coincidence. Does an asteroid hit on September 23rd? Probably not. There are many things we don't know. No prophet sees everything. And this is not a contest about who will have the most revelation, but rather a unique time where there is unprecedented access to things others may not believe in. And if you are feeling these things and seeing these things, your cheese has not slid off your cracker. We're with you. We feel these things. We're seeing these friggin' things. They're waking us up in the middle of the night and slapping our face with it. And there are numerous convergences here that take place that we should pay attention to, and September is a big month for that. And when countless believers have visions of tidal waves engulfing the east and the west coast, and others are seeing celestial bodies impacting the Atlantic, we'd be foolish to dismiss it all as, oh good, everyone's lost their damn minds. We can either say that everyone's insane, or there's actually some true warning going on here. And I don't think the warnings are missing us. If you wake up and something has told you to move, or leave, or go, or all the animals are flying in an opposite direction, or it looks like they're packing their little bags and leaving, you need to listen to that. Voices will be specific. Messages will be specific. You will be told what to do. And I appreciate and respect all of those who seek to discern prophecy and work together in unity as we look dimly through that glass. Climactic events have not just approached us, they're about to get amazing. They're getting amazing, right? And there are such a bizarre number of documented cases of the number 923 appearing in movies and television. Now, when I started this, talking about these events in September, before I went to sleep last night, I thought I was done this. I had a plan. Darn it, I make plans. I didn't think I needed to say anything else about confirmations, about anything. And then this 923, this 9-23, this September 23rd revelation was thrown in for good measure. There's this actress checking her phone, and of course the date and the time on the phone said 9:32, 9:23, and the words underneath were, do they suspect? And this was from NCIS, because it also implies a larger message of note. But for the sake of this time, consider this 239, referring to the anniversary of the United States, when the time is read backwards. Then you have the date of note, the Yom Kippur, the Feast of Atonement, which falls September 23. So it says, this little note, do they suspect? 932 09-23. Now, over the years, I've probably watched almost every episode of NCIS. I'm embarrassed to say. But it helps me shut my brain off when it's running too much. What is the likelihood that this particular episode should be seen within hours of me knowing I should talk about these specific numbers. Topic which I asked for confirmation far and above what I've told you about. Something has gone beyond, above and beyond. Not only answers when you're seeking, but answers abundantly, emphatically, completely. We are being told something here. Right from Cali on the Empire State Building, in a plethora of gods that exist within world religions that represent death and destruction, yet again in recent history, there have been numerous instances of an homage paid to such gods. Something to think about. Or it could be nothing. Probably nothing, right? Probably nothing. Kali permanently displayed on the Empire State Building. Really? Okay, thanks for listening, everyone. I know I've gone over a lot of stuff, but I love you guys. Bye for now. I know it's weird, right? It's weird. I'll tell you more Thursday. I don't know how many times I have to see Shiva juggling black helicopters, money, and homes in the globe. But I saw Obama as Shiva doing the exact same thing. Coincidence? I think